So you said
Yeah.
earlier that you were kind of the first player from Portugal to really make it in tennis and push on when there was that sort of mindset that it wasn't possible. Like, what was that like for you?
Yeah, as I said, like it was pioneer, like in terms of achieving ATP level, let's say, like because before my generation we had a player called Nuno Marques. He was like 86 in the world, but was like temporary, like a few weeks or a few months. So and then was my coach that he was like 101. He never did the top 100. He did 101 or 108, but he was number one in the world junior. So he kind of really helped me to go and beat. I beat all the records. Let's say I passed that like goal of going higher than 86, and not only that, but as I told you, like I remained almost 5 years inside the top 100, like between the 60 and the 100. So
That's like a crazy.
yeah, it was good.
I don't think people realize how difficult that is to do just to reach the top 100, but
Yeah.
to stay there for
Yeah.
5 years is like a crazy achievement, really.
Yeah,
Like,
and yeah, I think it's great. I could have done a bit better. I told you, like I felt like I was winning top 10 guys. I did a lot of wins top 20, and I was like why I'm 60, you know, like why I'm 70, why I'm like 80, like something wrong, you know, like something, like I always felt like I can do better, and I always felt I could be a top 20 or a top 30 minimum, like guaranteed. I would say maybe in the top 10, but like guaranteed top 30, top 20. I always felt it's doable. I think the decisions we were doing in terms of scheduling, maybe as I told you about the back end, but I mean I did great. You know, I did a lot. We worked so much, and yeah, it was very nice for me to do that. You know?
I think that's the thing as well, making people aware that like it's not just the tennis that's difficult. There's like you said, like the scheduling. There's like fitness. There's everything kind of.
Scheduling is key. Scheduling is like the tournaments you choose to play and the results, and then the physical and mental condition to be in top shape in those weeks, you know, and then it only counts like 14 to 18 weeks. So even if you play 30 or 30 or 25, it's counting the best ones, and then I don't know if you know, but like when you get to a certain level, top 200, you become like Division 1 member of ATP. And you have to sign a contract that says all the Grand Slams and the Masters 1000. It's like mandatory events.
Wow. Okay.
That no matter your results, this 11 weeks gonna be in your best 14 to 18. So basically, it says that either you have to play well in the big tournaments, otherwise it will count as a zero tournament. Even if you win, like you understand what I mean? Like so,
that's crazy.
It's very difficult because suddenly you are in the middle in the middle of all the best, but you need to perform well there in order to go up. So there is no winning challengers, let's say, or 250s here,
just to push you
because
up a
you can
little
only
bit.
put two there
Yeah.
for the best, you know.
So
it's well done because they need the best players on the TV and all that, you know.
And you were there.
Yeah.
Do you feel like it's you were targeting different events, like different conditions that were going to suit your game, or did it go down to that much detail, as in like the type of balls you were using, or was it more?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
But also in the beginning was more like whatever I can enter, it's bigger. I would go.
You're just going for it, yeah.
Yeah. But in my experience, like me personally, I wanted to risk always more the calendar. Like in terms of, I would prefer to play let's say a qualifying of, when I was futures, I would prefer to play a qualifying of a challenger than being in the future. I always wanted to play higher. But my coach was a bit the opposite. He said, no, you should first win here in order to go to the next one. So it was a bit hard for me and him sometimes to find the balance of the schedule, because I was a very risking person. He was more conservative. So sometimes it was difficult to find that balance. And and I had this vision and this dream that I wanted to say to the country and to show to the country that was possible to practice here, and when I say here is in Portugal, and achieve ATP level, because the culture everybody was nobody believed, and nobody did that before. So I really wanted that to happen. To like we're not less than the others, we can be stronger than the others. So that was a bit my vision and my dream to tell the country that it's possible. You know, like so. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And what was your training like when you were, you know, at the, let's say like the peak of your, you know, your ranking, and were you, you know, because a lot of people think, you know, you got to do like 4 hours a day, and like, you know, you're eating well and you're recovering well. Like, you know, how intense was it? Was it?
I was working a lot, like practicing a lot, because my coach was very. Paulo was with me until 14, but then at 17, I told you this coach that he was 100th in the world. He was a hard worker, and I have to tell you, like, there is no days that I practice less than 4 hours.
Wow.
That's like the minimum.
Yeah.
2 hours in the afternoon, 2 hours morning, 2 hours after. That was like minimum. Like plus the physical, plus the mental, plus the. It was a full day. I mean, I remember like I go to the club from my house at 7:38, and I get back home 8:39. Like it was a full day in the club, working, playing, resting, and then when you become a bit more, like I was with a lot of interviews. Then we had to contract like a guy for the media, because in 2009, me, Ronaldo, and Mourinho as a coach, we were doing very good results. So it was a bit popular. My name and my results were very like big in the country. So I need to contract another. So I had a lot of interviews, a lot of stuff to do that was taking me also some time, you know. And my coach was like very, very rigid on the trainings.
Yeah, because that's the other side of it as well, being like top, you know, top professional. Like there's other kind of duties, aren't there? Like there's the, you know, you think,
and
people at home think it's like just the tennis, and it's like
no.
It's, there's way more to it.
Yeah, and the manager, then I had like contract with Lagardère. That was one of the biggest agencies in the world. That was with Roddick, Serena, and then they took me as a #1 of Portugal. So I had an agency behind, also a bit managing. That was like was nice, was good. Yeah, it's much more than the tennis for sure.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
And then it becomes like a mini enterprise or a mini group, you know.
Like big business.
Yeah, it's nice. Yeah.
Was there ever a point where you felt like it was like too much, or were you always like loving it, like you just kind of wanted to push on? And I know you said you had that mindset about like pushing through futures, pushing through challenges, like always, you know, on to the next step. Was that something that helped you off the court as well, that sort of mindset?
I always loved, but like I struggled some moments. I like, for example, from being top 10 in the world junior to the first win in the future, it took me like 3 years. So that phase that we call like the jungle, the futures or the satellites was very hard, because I felt I was like top junior and I want to go for top ATP, and I was like, man, I cannot win a future, you know. It's like very hard. These guys, they play well, they are more mature. I felt was difficult, but I always said like it's gonna come, you know. Like I just, as I did until here, I need to continue. And my coach really helped me on like, you on the right track. Like we practice very professional. My father brought some investment to help, you know, always with the coach, always with the fitness, always with the physiotherapist, with the mental coach. So we kind of invested a bit, and I'm very thankful to my family for that, because they really did. Without them, that would not be possible, and without the help of the team and the coach. So it took 2-3 years, but then, as I said, when I got the first future, 2 weeks after, I played my first ATP challenge and I won. So it was like, and then it was very fast, and until the top 100.
Do you feel like that work that you put in when you were on the Futures Tour, when you were kind of going through that from juniors to, you know, playing ATP, do you feel like all the work there was put in the bank, and that was why you were able to, as well as the work you were doing at the time, the reason why you were able to stay in that top 100 for so long? Because it was all
but that was the structure that my team was giving me. But it was a bit shock, you know. When you are young, you think you can, and then I can't. So it's like you have to continue and have the. It's not easy sometimes, you know. Like, but it's the same in a game, you know. Sometimes we think we win, and suddenly the game is so difficult. Sometimes we can't. Sometimes just by the fact that we accept where we are, and we keep fighting and we keep going, then it comes. You understand? So it's exactly the same, like in a career. No?
Yeah.
So,
It's
but as
interesting.
like as you have to have that structure and that like strength to relativizar, to you know, like to okay, it's very difficult, but like okay,
Kind of see the bigger picture
yes,
in a way.
I
like,
breathe and I keep going. You know, like if I want to achieve that, so I have to find a way to balance myself and keep moving forward. You know, if not, I'm gonna get stuck here, or I go down, or I am not capable. Let's say, you know, like so the mind has to be very
very strong.
and this I am very strong naturally, but I also had like good, I think good, I always invested in good mental coaching, like to find the right like mindset to proceed, you know.
That feels like to me that's the key. Like you see loads of good players on the Futures Tour, like who, you know, I feel like that's something that's
they
probably
hit so much, they hit better than
Yeah.
you sometimes, but like
Yeah.
how is he not like, you know?
the same story with me. Like I feel like I hit a great ball, I have a big serve, and like,
Yeah.
and then it's just putting it all together. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it takes that, you know, mental side to, you know, because I've been there in training, working hard, like trying to, you know, kind of almost put my game together.
Yeah, yeah.
And then it comes together, and then you play a match, and I'd do it for a set, and then it goes.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? And
yeah,
it's-
yeah, oh, I know.
Yeah. And
But it's a long, it's not a sprint, you know?
no, it's long.
It's
Yeah,
a
you
long
have to
marathon with
stick at it.
sprinting, with a lot of sprints. But you need to have also like a longer picture, like
Yeah, I think.
and zoom out, you know, sometimes from that moment.
Yeah, and that's the skill, I think, like perspective, isn't it? That's
Yeah.
like one of the skills is having it in perspective that that's going to be the way that you play, and because I think sometimes like people get in their head that, you know, it's safer to play a certain way, or like, you know, they
Yeah, and
they
then
step
it's, that's
back
why
and-
it's so difficult, because then is the tactic part, there is the technique, then there is also the physical limitation that sometimes we're not capable of doing more. Sometimes, you know, sometimes the body is perfect, but our mind is completely you know. So that's why I think it's so complete, because we need to balance all these like 4 or 5 sectors and develop them, but also like keep let it go and keep growing, right? Like, but I feel a lot of pleasure doing that. I love that.
yeah, it's a
Because it's challenging, but I feel it's like my thing. I love to do that. I feel pleasure.
I think
like-
I can see that when you play. Like
Yeah.
you were like figuring
I can
things
be
out.
very
and-
frustrated, but I at the same time I love that feeling of like dealing with those all of those, like trying to find if it's tactical, if it's technical, if it's physic, if it's me, if it's him, if it's the ref. You know, there is so many components.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
It's very good. So I was gonna just before we wrap up, like I was just gonna ask you about, you know, what are you doing now? I know you said you have an academy, you're running
Yeah.
events. Like we've both just competed in the UTR event here.
Yeah.
2 weeks. It's been honestly one of the best tournaments I've been a part of.
Okay.
Like it's been
Thank you.
fantastic. Like
Nice.
yeah, you guys done a great job.
Thank you.
Yeah,
That's
just
good to hear.
talk me through a few of those things.
Yeah, I can also then forward you my presentation, but basically, basically I created like a tennis concept more than an academy. I created a concept that we
Okay.
manage like private courts. We help some clubs to co-organize with them and co-manage the clubs. And I'm creating with Nuno and Paulo this like events department that is bringing international tournaments as UTR. There is more news coming in soon that I can share in a few weeks. But yeah, I really want to have this Fred Gil events department really well organized and really well made. Nuno is giving me a big help. He organizes futures and ITFs for more than 20 years, so he knows how to do those events. And I'm bringing my brand, I'm bringing all my contacts, I'm bringing all the vision that I have for the Fred Gil. So I really want to have the academy. But this department of events really well, like exclusive and like really cool. And yeah, this is the first weeks I'm proud of my company have this partnership now with UTR, and they are giving us more weeks. So it's good. I'm gonna take it. Yeah.
I think the players are very happy about that
Yeah.
as well.
I love
because
the-
I think
yeah,
everyone
yeah.
here is like,
Yeah.
you know, everyone that I've spoken to said it's been fantastic.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And if we can even get better rates at this hotel for the players really to stay here as a resort and all that would be even better, you know. I think the courts were, I'm very thankful for the hotel, but in terms of quality, the courts are okay. I mean, I think
they were
they,
good.
Yeah,
They were
okay,
fine,
yeah,
yeah.
good. Yeah, they can maybe refresh the courts, you know. And yeah, but it's good. I'm happy with what we did here.
It's coming along, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that'd be fantastic if you can get some more events here, and
Yeah.
you know, we can get some more players in.
Yeah.
And are you going to compete in them again, do you think?
Yeah. I will. I'm preparing the World Championship over 40.
Okay.
That is in March in Turkey. So I'm playing next week in Budapest, ITF 40 plus, my first 40 plus event, and then I play the World Championship, and then I come for the next 6 weeks that we're gonna have here.
Wow.
So we're gonna have 3 more blocks of 2 weeks, and yeah, definitely I will.
It's better than my schedule.
Yeah.
I've got
Me
a few
too.
weeks off now.
Yeah, me too.
No, that's
So,
awesome. Thank
yeah,
you so
thank
much
you.
for coming on.
Okay,
Appreciate
thank you
it
for
so
this.
much.
Yeah, thank